an imagined glorious past and opposed change. In Europe, secular forces had to wage battles with the church and compel it to restrict its activities to matters spiritual. This did not happen in the Islamic world. As a consequence, Muslim nations remained backward and largely undemocratic. What would become of predominantly Hindu India now that it was truly independent for the first time in centuries? Indian democracy was fragile, and unless it struck strong secular roots, it would crumble and fall. India had religious minorities like Muslims, 12%, Christians, 3%, and Sikhs, 2%. Muslims and Christians were scattered across the country and not likely to create problems. Sikhs were concentrated in the Punjab, but were too small in numbers, too closely related to the Hindus, and therefore manageable. The main danger to India's secular democracy would be the resurgence of religious fundamentalism among Hindus, who formed over 80% of the population. Nehru was able to fight it off as long as he lived. It might be recalled that when Dr. Rajendra Prasad agreed to inaugurate the newly rebuilt temple at Somnath, Nehru sent a strong note protesting that the president of a secular state had no business to involve himself in religious matters. Unfortunately, the leaders who came after Nehru were not as upright and staunchly secular. Hindu extremist groups began to grow in strength. The feeling that Hindus had been deprived of their legacy and humiliated by foreigners had deep roots. For 8 centuries, Muslim dynasties had ruled over the country, and many Muslim rulers had destroyed Hindu temples, made forcible conversions, and imposed jizya, discriminatory taxes, on their non-Muslim subjects. This was not peculiar to the Muslim rulers of India. In almost all ancient and medieval societies, this was the norm. Hindu rulers too, for instance, had persecuted Buddhists and Jains and destroyed their places of worship. The British, who followed the Mughals, tried to be even-handed in their dealings with Hindus and Muslims, but allowed Christian missionaries to open a vast network of schools, colleges, and hospitals, preach the gospel of Christ, and win converts to their faith. It was during British rule that Hindu nationalism took birth. The most powerful movement, the Arya Samaj, began under the leadership of Swami Dayanand Saraswati, 1824 to 1883. His call back to the Vedas received wide response, particularly in northern India. Amongst the Arya Samaj converts was the Punjabi Lala Lajpat Rai, 1865 to 1928. Who was both an ardent Hindu and a leader of the Indian National Congress. So was Bal Gangadhar Tilak, 1856 to 1920, of Maharashtra, who revived the cult of Ganpati and coined the slogan, "Swaraj is our birthright." In due course of time, Hindu militant organizations took birth. The most important of these was the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, RSS, founded in 1925 by Keshav Baliram Hijewar, 1889 to 1940, in Nagpur. He propagated the cause of a Hindu Rashtra, a Hindu state. He was anti-Muslim and also anti-Gandhi because the Mahatma strove for equal rights for all religions. Hejewar was succeeded by M.S. Golwalkar, who was followed by Balasaheb Deoras. Together, these leaders, all charismatic and all unashamedly communal, strengthened the organization through fascist propaganda, strict discipline, and targeted social work among the Hindus during calamities like earthquakes and famines and during partition. By 1990, the RSS had over 1 million members who included, among others, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, L.K. Advani, Murli Manohar Joshi, Uma Bharati. The last three charged with the destruction of the Babri Masjid on 6 December 1992, and Narendra Modi, the present poster boy of the Hindu right, who presided over the pogrom in Gujarat. The RSS was, and is, anti-Muslim, anti-Christian, and anti-left. It could be dismissed as a lunatic group as long as it remained on the fringes of mainstream politics. Not anymore. Its political offshoot, the Bharatiya Jan Sangh, today's Bharatiya Janata Party, had only 2 MPs.